Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. I'm yours truly, Culture Shock. We are here to discuss some more moves the Colts has made in the offseason, this free agency period. But before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all platforms. Follow me on all platforms. Just look up the Culture Shock podcast anywhere you name it. I am located there. Or if you like articles about the Colts, or you want to watch the game on game day with me or others, check out thebluestable.com for articles and such of that nature. And also follow the Blue Stable podcast on every platform. We do game previews. We do the game live as well. Watch it together. Follow on all platforms. Appreciate the support. Let's go ahead and hop into the news for today. The Indianapolis Colts has made some moves. They signed a three-time Super Bowl champion, defensive tackle Derrick Nnadi from the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming out of Florida State in 2018. He won 3 Super Bowls with the Chiefs in his time there. He's a good run-stopping nose tackle, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be out there to be in a rotational piece. I think it's a good rotational piece for the Colts in that defensive line. Lou Anarumo draws up some beautiful schemes, so I'll be imagining a world where you got a Latu, a Grover Stewart, and maybe a Derrick Nnadi, or probably a DeForest Buckner and Nnadi in the rotation. But he's a good run stopper. I think this is a good rotational piece signing. So bringing him in is a good plug and play. I think this is a pretty decent signing to see what they got. They still got a long way to go in making moves. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward and how they look when they come out into the next season. Like I said, they got a lot of work to do. They lost a lot of players this offseason we weren't expecting, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Like I said, he's going with the Colts need bodies after DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, and I think Derrick Nnadi, being a vet, is a good rotation piece. And also, this is a good move after losing Neville Gallimore in free agency. This just helps the replacement. So he brings that great Super Bowl experience, and he values a good value piece in the locker room and the rotation for the defensive line. So I think this is a good signing. They're going to be interesting to see what they do and how they use him going into the season. Like I said, he's a good run stopper and plug in the middle. So I think he's a good rotational piece to have for the Indianapolis Colts in that defensive line. In 2025, he played 15 games, starting at 11, had about 16 tackles. Not a lot. I mean, the Chiefs had a pretty bad year, so can't really mention anything from it. But like I said, he's a good rotational piece from a good rotation signing, as we can say for right now. So adding him just makes you a tougher on the inside, improves the run defense, and he's a good rotational piece. So it'll be interesting to see how they use him moving forward. And other than that, we got other news, players being moved in free agency. Guy like Rodney Thomas II, the safety, a good depth piece, a pretty decent depth piece. He had a rocky career in Indianapolis, not gonna lie. Had some bright spots, but I had a lot of low lights, man. He just couldn't figure out the system. Could barely stay on the field rotation wise. So I think a fresh new start elsewhere is good for Rodney Thomas II. Hopefully he signed with Seattle Seahawks, if you guys didn't know. He just finished his rookie contract with the Colts. So he got a payday in Seattle with the Super Bowl champs. So hopefully they can go out there and use him at the safe position at depth. He's a good special teams player as well. So his special teams ability is definitely going to get him some type of play on the field. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Colts move from that. The safety room for the Colts is very thin at the moment. Like I mentioned, we just lost Nick Cross yesterday prior to this episode. The last episode, we lost Nick Cross. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the safety room. Still a lot of talent out there, but it is getting thin out there the longer we wait. So the Colts got to make moves and make them fast. Another loss today in this episode is Samson Ebukam, edge rusher, wound up signing with the Falcons. This is definitely a huge question mark going into next season. I think Ebukam had a pretty good 2023. 10 sacks, led in pressures, and he was pretty good on the edge, man. That's what kept him on the roster. But other than that, another edge rusher gone. We just got rid of Kwity Paye. He went to the Raiders. and now Ebukam to the Falcons. So that pretty much leaves Dio, Latu. Now we got Clemens. It's going to be it's not really a huge loss. Like I said, good on pressures, but the edge rush needs some revamping and immediately. So good for Epicam, getting another job. So it's going to be interesting to see how they move out of there. Probably the draft, if anything. They'll probably be drafting an edge rusher. Secondary, like I said, with no Rodney Thomas, the second is very thin. So we're going to probably go maybe get a vet safety or probably go younger, trusting the guys. The Colts like trusting their young pieces and putting them out there in the fire and letting them grow from there. Experience makes you grow with experience. So it's going to be interesting to see their outlook and, their perspective of their players that they just lost and how they're going to move, because they lost a lot of players this offseason. So going out there in the draft and putting them in the fire with the vets and mixing and matching with Lou Anarumo's scheme might benefit them. But like I said, if you have abilities or time to go out there and get vets for a minimum in free agency, I would say getting vets would definitely be the wave, especially if you're competing, try to make the playoffs. You want to fill these holes with veterans. Like I said, I trust, I understand you trusting the young guys, maybe out to draft and things of that nature, but you need some type of plug and play and some type of balance. Maybe they could learn from. So having vets out there to fill those spots, and you are good for getting vets and actually filling roles. So, if you can do that and mix and match with the players you already have, some continuity, starting off fresh and adding to what you already have cooking, I think that'll be the wave. But if you want to just start off fresh and actually revamp, I understand going to getting the young guys and just starting from scratch and then, going from there. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic of what the Colts going to do approaching this offseason, going into the new season with all of these players moving in free agency. So it's going to be a very interesting sight. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about the signings, the players moving, like Kwity Paye and things of that nature? How do you feel about those things? Like I said, the Colts, they got a lot of options and ideas they can go with. They got a lot of moves to make. Got a lot of holes to fill in that roster, especially on the defensive side. The offense, we understand what the offense is going to do, but the defense is the biggest question mark. We lost Zaire, Nick Cross, Kwity Paye. All of these guys have been moved. And, with all of these things, Jermaine Pratt has to be back on the roster. But the safety room is the biggest question of what you have going forward. What are you going to do with the safeties? I love Nick Cross' value. Wasn't the best safety, but I think his value on the defense was pretty substantial. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of move they make at the safety room. And when they do make it, you'll hear from me, and we'll be back to be talking about it. But that's all I got for you guys. Until next time, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about these moves. Follow on all platforms, especially at thebluestable.com with the websites and articles, all of these things. And we'll see you next time when I'll be back to drop more news when the Colts make something. And that's all I got for you guys. You guys have a good one. Go Colts.